So Reaper Bones fulfilled today. So this is the Greek Odyssey box. It's a fair chunky box of models. I really like Greek mythology, so I thought these would do perfect. So yeah, we're going to unbox this and see what's inside. They're fulfilled. I've had some Reaper Bones before. I didn't want to get the whole collection because I didn't fancy all of the models there. There was a few that I could get on the extras, so I quite enjoyed getting them, but I really like the Greek Odyssey box, so here we are. It's a really nice box, to be fair, because the majority of Reaper Bones stuff comes in bags, but I quite like that. So yeah, we'll get on with the unboxing. So I'll get the box and open it up. There's quite a lot of models in here, as you can see. So we'll do these a few at a time. Should have really organised this before starting to unbox, but there we go. Okay, so here we go with the first models. So this is a big old Minotaur. So it's all one. I quite like it when Reaper do their models in one casting. It's quite nice plastic, because sometimes the Reaper Bone stuff can be terrible. But this is really nice. It's quite crisp, quite a lot of detail, and it's a big old model as well. So here he is next to a 28mm Perry miniature. So yeah, he looks pretty. He looks big. So I think he might be able to. I'm well into Oathmark at the moment, and he'll fit quite nicely on an Oathmark base. So I could just build up around there, and that will look really good. So I could potentially, he might be in my Undead Greek Oathmark army. So I might pop him in there. So I quite like that. That's really good. And there's only like a little bit of flash to clean up. So I'm quite impressed with that Minotaur. That's really good. The next model is a Centaur, which again is another single cast. That looks really good as well. I don't know if he'll be able to fit on a 28mm base. No, it's a 25mm base, sorry. It's a bit bigger than that, so you could trim it down, I suppose, but he'd look quite good on a 50mm. Yeah, I really like him. He's good. He's well cast again. That might need bending out slightly, but a bit of hot water, but that's quite straight. These Reaper models that they've brought out are actually quite nice, because sometimes I think it's fair to say they're more of a budget company, and it's more of a budget option, the Reaper Bones line, but I really like these. The plastic seems quite nice and they're quite hard, so yeah, that Centaur's really good, so I'm quite impressed with that. Next model is an absolutely huge Stormjoint, which is good. That's what you want from a giant, you don't want a small one. So it comes with a really nice base. So you have to put bits of it together, but that's really cool. That goes like that. So that's a really nice base, just it's not a smiley face, I think that's where her foot goes. So this is a main model. So again, I've been impressed with the quality of the plastic. She's quite female hero kind of armour, boob armour, but that's is what it is. Yeah, so I quite like, she looks quite cool. I might leave her on that base. I could use her actually as a giant. It's a 50mm base, so I could build up some terrain on there and have her stepping on something. That'd look quite good as a actual giant in Oathmark. Or I might just leave her like this, so I think she pops on here like this. Yeah, so she fits together quite well. And I really like that. She's quite big, and that can make a really nice centerpiece if you wanted to chop bits off. A bit of creative, yeah, and that comes off with a minimum of fuss. You could put her on a square base, so yeah, that's really good. So again, well done, Reaper. This is my this is the model that I had the most high hopes for. This is a big brass golem. I'm really looking forward to painting this up, because I feel like I've got ancient brass down to a T. Yeah, it's really nice detail. Got a base on it, so I might just do him as is. It's really good. I really like that. Again, there's not much excess flash to take off. There he is next to a Perry miniature, so he could easily, I know everything seems to be about my overmark lately, but he could easily go on a base for overmark. But I might leave him just regular like that, because I quite like that base on there. So yeah, he looks really good. He might be the first one to paint up, actually, because I feel like I'll probably do him in a session, because I feel like I've got my brass recipe down to a T. So yeah, yeah, brilliant. I'm really pleased with this one. He looks great. So yeah, mad Greek scientists, here we go. Well done. Next up is a hippogriff. Oh, he's got a bit of work to do around it, but yeah, the wings are beautiful. They're quite detailed. Yeah, so he'll fit together nicely. I haven't got enough arms and fingers to. Yeah, he's a decent size. He looks really cool. So yeah, he'd make a really good monster. Yeah, I like that. And the base is quite agnostic, so you could kind of use that on anything. It's not. You can have some rocks popping up out of anything. So yeah, quite a fan of that guy. So yeah, that's a hippogriff. That's quite cool. So yeah, that's another good one. This is the Pegasus. I quite like that this Greek Odyssey box. It's mainly big monsters, and I think that's what the Bones line does quite well, because I find the individual models, sometimes there's a lot of work to do on them, but these ones, I don't know if they're using new plastic, but they all seem to have come out quite good. So yeah, Pegasus looks brilliant. I don't think I could get someone to ride on the back of it, but that's okay, because that'd make a really good model. And I might do him the traditional white, or could do like rainbow wings. That would be quite cool. I think that's very She-Ra. But yeah, I could look into that and see what that looks like. So yeah, that's Pegasus. So that's quite cool. That's a similar base to the hippogriff. So yeah, it's good. So this is another of the main models that I wanted to get the Greek Odyssey box for. So this is the Hydra. It's got 5 heads. So yeah, that pops up like that. So he's quite big. So this could be used for D&D. I think it'd look brilliant as like an end of quest boss or something. Yeah, that looks quite good. There'll be a little bit of filling, I think, but only a little bit, which is quite good. Yeah, it intertwines quite nicely. So it's on a big old base, and it's quite a decent size. So yeah, that's brilliant. They're quite cool. I think the original Hydra and Hercules might have had 9 heads, but I might be wrong. But yeah, it's great. So I quite like that. That's a really good model. So this is a Cyclops. This is an absolutely colossal model, which looks really cool. So he's big. He's got a big old head to go in there. So there might be a bit of trimming on this one. So this guy, there he is with his big one eye. It looks quite cool. It's very chunky, and there he is next to a Perry model. So he's huge. I think he's bigger than the Stormjoint that's in the Greek Odyssey kit, the Greek Odyssey box. So he comes with a couple of different arms. He comes with a necklace of skulls, which is cool. That does look really good, actually. And it's got a big old decent base. So yeah, the base is quite good. And he comes with a couple of different hand options. So he's got a massive hammer that's made out of like an old Greek column, which is really cool. And I'll go in there like that. It looks like it's reaching down to grab someone, or he can be a sheep bother. So, which again is really cool. So could potentially, with a bit jiggery pokery, do that so I could swap arms. But yeah, I like that. And he's got all sheep pelts on his I suppose it's a skirt, but yeah, on his underoos he's got a bunch of sheep and a massive belt buckle, and he's quite hairy. So yeah, he's quite good. So he might look really good when he's painted up. Yeah, so that's the yeah, I'm quite impressed that they've got 2 different arm options. That's really cool. That gives you a few options. And who doesn't want a sheep stealing Cyclops? Yeah, so there he is. So this is the Nemenian lion, which I believe Hercules had to fight in. This is really nice. It's big. It hasn't got much detail on there, but that's quite good because you could kind of freehand some kind of maybe some kind of light stripes on there. I suppose that's a tiger, but not a lion. But yeah, it's a giant Nemenian lion. So here he is next to an unlucky. So obviously, as you can see, much bigger than a normal lion. But that's really cool. That's one of Hercules' tasks. But yeah, yeah, it's good. That'll be quite fun to paint up. Now, another one of the big monsters here is the Cerberus. Now, this could easily be used if you're playing some kind of Harry Potter game. This could be used as the Cerberus. Well, it's not called Cerberus in Harry Potter, but yeah, this could be used if you're doing some kind of role-playing game in Hogwarts. This could be I don't watch enough Harry Potter to know. But yeah, he's really cool. He's got 3 heads. He's absolutely massive, which is cool. Yeah, he's got his 3 heads there. This would make a really good final boss. Or some kind of, if you're doing a Greek, like a Greek set in ancient Greece. This is the last thing you see before you go to Hades or Hell. So he is a guardian and indoor, and he can make a final boss for a session before going to Hell. There he is next to a Perry miniature, 20mm, and yeah, he could fit in there. So yeah, great. That's really nice. The base is really nice as well. It's got the Greek columns, the Greek architecture there. So yeah, that looks really cool. So he would, I'm not sure how we go. Yeah, so he'd go on like that. So he'd look really good. Yeah, that's really cool. That is. I quite like that one. So there's some individual heroes. I've got quite a few here. So this one looks like, I don't know if it's meant to be an Argonaut or if this is meant to be Jason. I should have read my research. So back to YouTube school for me. So, but he's quite cool. He's quite big. He'd fit in an army. Again, next to Perry, he's much bigger, but he's more heroic scaled. So he'd potentially, like if you were stuck for Warhammer models or Age of Sigmar, he'd fit in really nicely. Yeah, I quite like him. He could do quite well in ancient Greece style D&D campaign. So yeah, quite like that one. That's another good model. So we've got some nifty pillars. This is one where I assume it's Zeus, and I would assume this one's Hera. If you know they're probably their Roman names, but yeah, they're really cool. I quite like the architecture on the bottom, so they do good as just scattered terrain in a dungeon or anything, or just on a battlefield. So they look really good. I really like the look of these. They're decent size. So yeah, they're quite high. So they make really good entrance in D&D. It's like a temple or something. So yeah, I might try some marble techniques on these. So hopefully they'll look really good. So this is quite a cool model. This is Medusa. If you ever watched Clash of the Titans, either the new one or the one I watched when I was a kid from the 80s, It's absolutely terrifying, that film. She's really cool. She looked quite good in like themed with Cerberus if you're doing a D&D encounter. Yeah, she's quite big as well, surprisingly big, because the tail's massive. Yeah, she looks really good. She's got quite a lot of detail, and she's got the quiver and the bow there. So yeah, that looks really nice. And that'll be quite nice to do with all the detail of the scales. So that'll work quite well with like Citadel contrast paints. So looking forward to painting her up. Don't look directly into her eyes though. So you get a pair of Harpies in the box. These are both really cool models, and they're quite big as well, which is quite cool. So yeah, they're really cool. So loads of detail. And they'll be quite fun to paint up with contrast paints. There's one flapping its wings, and one not so flappy. Yeah, they've got loads of detail. Really like the legs. So yeah, they're really cool. So they'll make a fantastic encounter. Yeah, really like Harpies. So yeah, they're really cool. So there's a sorceress. I can't remember which Greek tale it was, but there's a sorceress. I think it's on Odysseus. So Homer's Odyssey, when Odysseus goes back home, and she turns some of his crew into pigs. So they're quite cool. Some little hogs. They'll be really good. And she is. So yeah, that's a really cool little characterful little set. I didn't know that was coming with it, so that's really cool. So yeah, I'm going to paint some little piggies soon. So there was a couple of satyrs. I think Mr. Timmus, but with attitude. So yeah, there's a female one and a male one. They're really cool. She's got a big staff. He's got a big sword. Yeah, nice detail on them. So they'll be quite... Yeah, some really cool little characterful models here. So yeah. I can't remember what this was officially called, but this looks like some kind of panther. This is quite a cool little addition. Might be a lion. Yeah, that's a decent size, still massive. Yeah, that's quite cool. I didn't think I was getting that either. So yeah, that's quite cool to have in. It makes a bit of a difference next to the Nemenian lions. So yeah, that's quite a cool addition. So we've got this female archer. I'm sure she's got a name in Greek mythology. Yeah, she's quite cool. She's got a quiver full of arrows. Decent bow. Yeah, so she looks really cool. She's something a bit different. Yeah, so quite like that. So, I wasn't sure who this model's meant to represent, because I'm a bit slow on my old Greek mythology. It looks like some kind of sage or sorcerer, so he's really cool. He's got like an owl on the end of his staff, and he's got a scroll there, so he might do quite well if we were doing a theme game of D&D. It's like a wizard or something. So yeah, he's really cool. So he might be quite cool painted up actually. So yeah, quite like that one. And yeah, it's a bit of a different model. It's not brandishing a sword, so that's quite cool. So this guy, he looks like Hercules. He's got his big pelt, he's got his bow and his arrow and his massive club. Yes, that's typically Hercules. He looks really cool. He's got a... hope I didn't throw him on the table. Yeah, he's really cool. He's got a big club. Yeah, I really like him. He's sometimes sculptors get it really right, and they give him the bags of like personality. So yeah, you can definitely tell he's the big dog. So yeah, I really like him. So yeah, that's Hercules. So that was the Greek Odyssey expansion for Reaper Bones. I think it was about $50-$60 in the end, and plus postage. But I really enjoyed unboxing that, so I'm looking forward to painting a lot of these. Some of them I'm not bothered about. That's the joys of Reaper Bones, is that you get loads and loads, so you don't so you can pick the ones you like. So the main models that I like out of this are the brass Golem, which looks phenomenal, and surprisingly enough, the Harpies. So yeah, so I'm really looking forward to painting these. You can get some really gory detail on them, and yeah, I think this might be the one that I paint on first. It's a big old model, and they're quite like it. They're a bit more heroically scaled, like more like 32mm, more like the Age of Sigmar models. But yeah, really looking forward to painting these up. So yeah, that was Reaper Bones Greek Odyssey expansion.